Sometimes you
happy accidents.
You put it in the wrong hole. I mean, this angers me so much.
Oh, wait, hang on. Give me the power. Let me put it over on this side.
You got some room?
Yeah.
This is what annoys me is that like I always feel like constant amateur hour with this stuff.
Well, Johnny, I mean, look at you.
But then again, I hear things like earlier driving up here, I was listening to Theo Vaughn's podcast with Howie Mandel. And when Nick, the producer, was talking, there was a portion at the end of the podcast where he had like a loud echo and a reverb. And I was like, that's a professional podcast, and they hire producers and editors, and they dicked it up. So
shit happens.
I guess shit happens. Yeah. Shit happens every single time for mine. So maybe it's just shit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a new medium.
What? Podcasting or me?
No, it's podcasting. It's still relatively new. It's still a new medium, or new large.
You're a new
fuck
large.
You.
Yeah,
that's your second one of the day. You only get one more.
What is that reference? Some
what
queer neighbor, like roommate reference?
No, just stupid dad jokes.
Stupid fat bullshit. Puns. Yeah. Dad puns.
Relax, guys. We're all here.
We got to start like that.
We're all here in the brotherhood of the the Big Trouble Sword.
Of the I'm almost giving you a high five.
Yeah, except also not. Yeah.
Except this would be a very inconvenient high five.
Ow. Ow.
It hurt knuckles. It hurt knuckles.
We gotta do something else.
But the ninjas they probably have callous knuckles.
Yeah, from
all the ninja from all the fighting. We'll get into that. We'll get into that in the junction.
Ninja.
Yeah. All right, jabronis, we're back. We're here at the Site Bravo with Nikki Styxx and Pistol Pete. Thank you guys for hosting and allowing me to do this amateur hour again. We had a pretty good weekend. We're coming off a SummerSlam weekend for me, so it's kind of tough to follow.
Oh yeah, why would a surprise party with your entire family that you haven't seen in several years even dare to compete with SummerSlam?
Yeah,
in Vegas. With Crusher. I think you're asking the wrong question, fella. But anyway, how
was it? Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll talk about that in the episode that I'm sure you've already listened to.
Now we want to ask questions.
Yeah, we have some follow-up questions.
Yeah. So,
what's your favorite gun?
But the slam was good.
Slam was great. Good seats in the slam.
How much were seats?
I don't know. Crusher got him. He scored him somehow. I think he got some
probably
sort of
through his creepy backdoor dealings.
Yeah, the same guy.
He always takes it in the back door.
The same guys he gets his body oil from.
His body butter.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's not butter.
But we had our seats were above the entrance where they walk in, so we couldn't be seen on camera. But when the wrestlers walked in, they were directly down and just to the left of us, so we can see them right there on the tunnel going in. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Is there an industry term for them, or are they just wrestlers? So they call them like the talent or something like that.
Talent's what they call them in industry.
For WWE, they call them superstars.
But is everybody a superstar who's in the WWE?
Everyone who has a contract, I think they technically call them. Again, Crusher can probably correct me. I'm probably botching that somehow, but I think they call them stars. I don't know what the other promotions call them, but talent's
usually
fighters.
The blanket term.
I wouldn't call them the
showman.
Fighters.
Showman
is. I would do showman because they are showmen, but I would not call them the fighters.
They fight.
No, they don't.
Listen, we're not doing this.
Oh, I'll do it.
We're not getting into that argument.
No.
It's still real to me. Damn, you ever see that video? That's a great one. It's got to be on YouTube. If it's on YouTube, I'll link it here, like in the top right of the screen. But the video of the guy, it was like a high school gymnasium. They were doing some sort of forum. No, it was a forum with, I don't even know who was hosting the forum, but this guy was coming up. He was a fan of wrestling, and he got choked up talking about how like people shit talk him and bully him because he still likes wrestling, and he knows that it's like entertainment, but he's like, it's still real to me, damn it, because he like loves it. And it was like immediately went viral for being super funny, but then it was also kind of sad for me because I was like, man, this guy just like, and he knows what it is, he enjoys it, and he's still getting ragged on, like
geez.
absolutely just
Well, no, if
throttled for it.
you just appreciate the art form of what it is. I don't think
It's a male soap opera.
Yeah,
Male-driven soap opera.
Yeah, I don't think anybody at your level of knowledge thinks like, oh, he really got him there. I think you're just enjoying the
spectacle.
art piece.
No, there are not many adults.
It's like Telemundo.
Yeah, there are not many sane adults that still watch WWE that are like, oh, like he really punched him right there.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know, they don't. There's not many of those.
Is there like
And
people who will ask like, oh, do you think like who would win? Like Goldberg? It's like whoever the writers decide will win.
Yeah,
Like, it's not-
no, the kids will. The kids
yeah,
will.
the kids, the children,
And we'll always talk about what we think the results are going to be based on like who is going to carry the company more.
Yeah, but
because you know the story, you know the drama behind it, the soap opera.
You're
behind
talking
it.
about it from a business industry standpoint.
Yeah,
You're
who
not
can
like,
carry like
oh, what's like the cold stunner against like the people's elbow? Like who what does more damage?
Right.
Like they're not
no.
real.
Like we know
It's
that
like XP, like Magic the Gathering.
yeah, yeah.
Like they got their trading cards for the WWE.
Who's got extra power?
Actually, guys, we may have stumbled onto something here.
I mean, he's not. It's not a bad
Uh-oh.
idea.
We could. I'm sure there's some sort of like Reddit page, some thread that goes down to that world.
Oh yeah, I read a Reddit page about who would win in like a space battle, like the Star Trek, like the Federation of Planets versus the Empire from Star Wars,
The rebellion.
and they broke it down by like amount of ships in the fleet, firepower, like you know, troop capacity of each ship, and they go and show you like who would win.
So here's why I'm not mad about that.
I'm not mad about it. It's fascinating.
It sounds nerdy and it's like do something else with your life, but what's if you have that much time in your lives, I'd rather you do that than like get on and talk about politics and troll people and be a shitty human being.
Right.
Focus your energy on something that people can get behind. It's entertaining. You're using your brain to theorize and critically analyze, even though they're fake situations. You're still not being an ass bag to somebody. You know? It's very strange.
Yeah, it's very weird.
No, I don't think it's people have had these. Every kid has had these questions about something for like hundreds of, even back in the old times. It was like, oh, if Machine Gun Kelly and Babyface Nelson were in a bar, who would win? And we finally have.
That's not hundreds of years.
Well, all right, how about like Wild Bill Hickok versus Billy the Kid? Like there was probably some kid in the 1890s who was
but
like,
those
who would win in a gunfight.
But here's the thing: you're comparing real people now. They can actually have a gunfight.
But they couldn't.
But Captain Kirk and Darth Vader can't have one.
Says you.
Yeah.
Reddit.
I know. I'm about to get blasted.
But we finally have like the resources and enough smart people who are into this stuff to actually figure it out.
Well, that's what I'm saying is if you're going to expend resources, if you have the time, even though it's not real characters, do it on that and don't just follow rule number 2 of the big 3. Don't be a shitty person.
Right,
and those guys are doing that. Unless they get violent in the chats.
And then it's like flag on the play.
I'm gonna kill you with my lightsaber.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Okay. So these are people who are taking these theories based on like a mythos that was created by other people for these shows, which is bonkers to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's wild.
It's like there's so much material and there's such depth and breadth to all of it that you can actually make an argument that could be a sound argument. I was like, okay, well, if these are, everything at play, like
they could also just ask the writers, the creators.
But even there's contention there because there's some writers who are like, I wouldn't do that. And we're like, yeah, that's what they would do.
And also they didn't, when they were first, like when they wrote A New Hope, they didn't write in the amount of detail that like people analyze it to this day. They kind of just, at the time, I think they just like, George Lucas had a good amount of the mythos like in his mind, but he just like wrote a movie not thinking, oh yeah, there's going to be hundreds of books and different characters and different He kind of just like had his little timeline of what he wanted to write. He did not write like, oh, and there's going to be an Imperial destroyer. It's going to have the capacity to transport 2,000 troops, and they can drop on a planet. And also, if they ran up against a Star Trek Federation destroyer, there was no like he didn't think like that. He's just like, oh, here's a big triangle ship.
Here's why I completely get behind that, because if you've seen any of George Lucas's movies after Star Wars, like cough, Howard the Duck, I know there was not as much forward thinking as what these Redditors are thinking about.
The first live action Marvel movie.
That was a tough one. Duck bestiality. tough. And Marty McFly's mother was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Also a
Jeez.
far fall from the top, if you will.
But anyway, back to SummerSlam.
Back to Slam.
So, what did you eat at the buffet that I sent you to?
Well, literally everything you wanted. Like I had, there was the prime rib. They had like a Wagyu beef station. And I wanted to go back to that one, but I didn't because I think the guy used the same knife on the Wagyu beef that he used on like a fish earlier because there was some sort of fish aftertaste. And I was like, I can't get behind this right now. And I know it's not the beef.
Right.
But everything else was delicious. And then they had a full plat, like it was a full buffet, like any sort of Chinese food buffet you go to, like a full room. They had one of those for each genre of food: sushi, meats, sliders, pizza daddies, pastas, desserts. It was well worth the money.
The Chinese
Bellagio, which one?
That was the Caesar's. Palaces.
I think it's called
Bacchanalia.
Bacchanalia.
Yeah, something like
Which
that.
I think is what the Greek or Roman god of like feasting, I think, is like a bacchanal is like a feast or like a party. I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know that
And Caesar's Palace.
I just know
makes
that
sense.
Ralphie used that in the Christmas story. He was talking about the Bacchanalia of like toys that.
Yeah, it's like a festive, like the festival.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever.
a bevy.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
bevy.
it was.
A
It was a
bevy.
smorgasbord,
Yeah.
if you will.
Chinese buffets, I feel like, are a lost art form.
A good buffet.
A good one.
I mean,
They slapped a lot together, though.
I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of buffets on Fremont Street that are
subpar.
shady at best.
Where
Yeah.
a lot of
blue and a lot of
CSI
yellow.
episodes took
Yeah,
place.
yeah, oh yeah.
Ladyfinger.
I mean, Fremont Street is a breeding ground for CSI material.
I mean, it's Johnny. It's
It's one of the best things ever.
the city itself is called Sin City, and this is a bad street in that city.
It's not a bad street. It's a phenomenal street. It was. I felt so at home.
You were at home?
My people.
I couldn't like. It was one of those places where I couldn't feel more at home yet more at a place at the same time because there were some absolute freaks there. But I was just like, I'm comfortable with it.
Just like you and your like Italian loafers?
Right. That's right.
That's perfect.
Why you gotta
Almost.
Why you gotta bring that up?
Because
You know what the source
They weren't
is.
loafers.
I know.
They weren't loafers. They had laces. They were full on.
I'm pushing the buttons.
On his picnic table shirt.
Actually, it matches this tank.
Of
So I
course.
might. Of course, I'm going to
What
wear
is
this
your
tank.
fascination with like aqua blue? Like your shorts the other day had like an aqua blue.
I
in
got
them.
those years ago
Years
from
ago.
Ross Gellers
Try to-
because I was going golfing and I needed shorts and they were cheap.
You were golfing in Arizona.
No, they were the only things that fit me at Ross's because they didn't have kid sizes.
I wanna
They were
say
out of
that
kid
you're-
sizes.
If you had a theme like Johnny's life color scheme is like a jet ski from 1985 Miami. It's like aqua blue,
Miami Vice
yeah.
colors.
Yeah, it's like aqua blue and like pinkish. It's like very
I
like,
wanted to-
Flamingo
I can't-
pink neon.
yeah, like
can't really
that
pull up-
shirt is your.
That's
I
exactly
can't really
what's going
pull
on
off
there.
the pink. The pink has to be subtle like this because I can't go pink with like blue as the undertone, if
Right.
you will. I can't. I just don't look good in it. I don't feel good. Not that I don't like it. I don't
Yeah,
mind
it works
Yeah.
in a certain capacity.
Yeah, too much is not good for me. It's not a good look,
And then
but I
not
like
enough
the blue.
is never enough.
That's also true.
Why is there a shark on your shirt?
This is from Bash at the Beach.
Okay. Is it actually from
WCW.
Bash at the Beach, or it's just like a?
I got it from the Bash at the beach.
You did not go to the Bash.
Quick story. The Bash at the Beach took place in Daytona Beach at the Ocean Center where we graduated college from. I didn't go to my graduation, thankfully, but that's where we would have our graduation. And it took place there. And that was where Hulk Hogan turned heel.
And went to the NWO.
Went to the NWO. He was the third man.
That's when he had the blonde mustache, but then the black beard.
Right.
Well, he did not that day
Yeah.
because he came out as Hogan and everyone was pumped because he was going to take care of Macho Man was getting throttled by Nash and the other. What the hell is the other guy's name? Damn it! I have his
Oh my
face.
God.
Yeah.
Look at the wrong guy here.
Shit,
bud.
I forgot. Bud's gonna kill me. But Hogan comes out and everyone's cheering because they think he's gonna protect Macho. And he gets into the ring. Nash and the other greasy hair guy. Damn it! What the hell is his name? Anyway,
Is he super famous or like?
he's famous. He's the original of the NWO.
I'm trying to think of who else was in it.
If you look it up, you'll find it. And they get out of the ring, and all of a sudden, Hulk Hogan's walking around, everyone's cheering for him, and then he does an elbow drop on Macho, and the fans are stunned. It was the most notorious, famous heel turn in the history of wrestling, without a doubt in my mind, at least in my humble opinion. And then they started literally throwing trash in the ring when the other two guys came in and they were doing like the high fives with the horns.
Oh God.
It was wild. I wish I was there for it. It was wild. But Crusher actually saw this tank on the WWE website, the shop, and he's like, this would be a great tank for you to pick up for Slam. And I got it on like pre-order, snagged it. Yep, killer.
X-Pac?
No.
Scott Hall.
X-Pac.
Jeez. I even remember him.
Oh, Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon, yeah.
Who was
He's
like
a
supposed to be
bad
like
dude.
Puerto Rican or something?
I think he's a
But,
fake.
I mean,
though.
yeah, Scott Hall is not obviously Puerto Rican, but
He could have been. He could have had roots.
no, he grew up as an army brat and attended high school in Germany. And then he's local checkers, and he had
He's
like
great.
a
Yeah, he's
like
great. Yeah, the slick, the greasy hair. Like he had pomade or some sort of product in there. Slick shellacked. Yeah, it was. It looked.
I watched that documentary about like the whole history of WCW and how actually like Kevin Nash is one of the reasons why it ended up going under, because he started like getting in the writer's room and like started writing storylines that were much more geared towards him, but like he didn't have the popularity.
Well, he was getting older too.
Yeah, and that like it was those storylines, and then that crazy guy who was in charge,
Bischoff.
yeah, and it eventually just collapsed.
That was the end of it.
Yeah, and then I think
they were beating
WWE bought it out.
WWF for like 3 or 4 years in a row.
Well, they had everybody for a while.
Yeah.
I mean that's where the NWO started.
Yeah,
Right.
But I saw Steve Nash in Daytona a few times. He used to go to Larry's
Kevin
Giant
Nash?
Subs.
You mean Kevin Nash or Steve?
Yeah, Kevin Nash. Why did I say Steve? Not the basketball player from the Suns. Kevin Nash would go into Larry's Giant Subs in Daytona Beach. They had good subs, and they sold Choco Tacos too. So I would take a nice like turkey, bacon, tomato, toast it a little bit, little mayo, boar's head, and then I wash it down with a Choco Taco.
How big were they? Giant subs? Were they like Vitali's like level stuffed?
Not that big time. We're talking Daytona here.
I don't know. I'm just you could put boar's head meat on a sandwich anyway.
It was a giant sub for compared to anything else you were going to get in
Compared
Daytona.
to a Quiznos or a Blimpie.
Yeah, I wish I had Blimpie. They had shit Subway.
Yeah, Subway I don't like. Blimpie. Your dad likes Blimpie too.
Blimpie Ranch One.
Mm.
Usually you got both of them there. Get some fried chicken.
Blimpie's pretty.
Listen.
Can't dog on Blimpie.
They used to remember in Hilldale. They used to have like random like
Blimpie Day.
Blimpie Day, and then they would have like a Pizza Hut Day where you get like the personal pan pizzas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was good times. So it was good. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Out there.
Yeah. But you got to listen to the episode about all the freaks we saw. I wasn't even all of them. It was just some of the highlights.
I know the Michael
highlight
Jackson
reel.
one.
The Jackson, the Tony and Carmine. That was wild. Carmine. I can't stress this enough. He looked like, and I described it earlier, he looked like if you took me when I had hair, like a flat top, if you took me and you just melted me down and deformed me a little bit, like I was an action figure, you just melted me in a microwave. Like he looked like an understudy version of me, short and a little stockier, like thicker.
And his name was Carmine?
No, we just made that up.
Where'd you see? You saw him on Fremont Street?
We were at the bar at Fremont Street, the same bar we met Booker T and Michael and Macho. Yeah, and Macho Man and Clay Guida. Saw Clay Guida.
Yeah. Right after he lost, poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, he took it in stride.
I mean, he always does. He looks like one of the Geico cavemen.
Yeah, he does.
Oh
He
my
looks like
God.
he constantly is getting beaten up, but
he is.
But he is, I guess, too. But he's also
he's
a
been
good
fighting
fighter.
for a long
Yeah, he's
time.
almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, we were there, I guess, before he got there, and they were advertising it because they had up like on the poster at the bar, like who the big names coming into the bar this weekend for like the little Wrestle Fest thing that they were having and some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they advertise it as the Clay Guida Mafia watch party. So it literally, when we first got there, it was just a bunch of these guys, short guys with like big attitudes, like they were all Clay Guida, wearing Clay Guida shirts, and we're like, these guys are like, they either worked at the same gym as him one time, or they just are fans of his, and they were advertising like this is a big entourage, like the Guida Mafia. And then like a couple hours later, Clay Guida walks in with his father. And I only know that because his father was wearing a shirt that says, I'm Clay Guida's father.
I'm with Clay Guida. Yeah. So this must have been like at like late, like 2 a.m.
It was a little earlier than that.
It was just Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, it was a little earlier than that.
He fought Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came in. He didn't look too beat up. He lost by split decision, I think.
Yeah, he did. He did okay. He's just old,
and
he's a brawler, man. That's what he does. You know,
I always love watching him fight because he's got unlimited fuel in the tank and he can take a hit.
Diego Sanchez beat the crap out of him for 3 rounds, and he just kept coming.
He kept coming. Yeah,
he's like Rocky.
Animal.
Yeah, total animal.
A lot smaller looking and like a lot shorter in person. He's stocky.
I want to say he's
a brick shit house.
I think he fights at 155. So that means he probably walks around 170, 165, 170.
You had to see the jabronis hanging around him, like following around like little like
Guidettes.
Yeah, like little Guidettes. They were Guidettes. They were short, stumpy, soft. Everyone was wearing Guida shirts that had to say UFC everywhere, and then like cargo shorts, and they all had to tell you how they also fight. And it was just like, we got it.
We get it.
Like the WWE fan base is so much more positive. They're just like a family. They're not trying to do finisher moves on you. Meanwhile, these UFC guys who like, again, walked by a UFC training gym were like, I can fight anyone. I'll kick your ass. I was like, I got Macho Man and Michael Jackson here. We'll put a hurt on you guys. We'll promo you to death real quick, son.
Poor Clay Guida.
Poor Clay had to deal with that. Yeah, but he had his father there to protect him, I guess, or himself.
And we know that because his dad was clearly labeled.
Clearly. I mean, it was with a picture of Clay on the shirt.
Him holding Clay as a baby.
In case you don't know.
I'm his father. Yeah.
I'm Mr. Guida.
Yeah, I am the King Guido. He should have had it. I mean, but Tony and Carmine, they were not there for the watch party. They were not part of the Guida Mafia. They were there for their own agenda.
They were just there.
I don't even think they realized they were there.
They were like Norm and Cheers, like, you're just there.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
No, they knew why. Nobody else did.
Every once in a while, you hear them like talk about the plan. Like, what could the plan?
They came in down Tuesday. They came in separately, so we thought they were separate. But they
throw everyone off.
Yeah.
Right. But they were clearly a team because they would come back and meet with each other to discuss something, and then they would go back out and try to talk to women or anything. Tony kept going to Crusher and like giving him little like not pep talks, but like he'd be like, a chick would walk by in the bar and he'd be like, see that's pretty nice, right? And Bud's like, who are you? But he was trying to be nice because you don't want to spook these guys. Like, these are real wild cards we're talking about here.
You want to come outside? I can tell you some butter.
The whole Fremont Street is loaded with wild cards.
Wild cards, bitches.
That's what it was.
Like, you want the body butter? I got limbs in the trunk if you want to try it out.
Yeah.
And Bud turns around. You've piqued my interest. I do enjoy.
We got to get out of here.
I do enjoy a body butter.
Yeah. Also, I need to leave.
Yeah. Also,
I'm in danger.
First, can we stop by his van to see about this body butter?
Yeah, we'll get it on the way out.
Yeah. I really want to leave, but like,
yeah,
it's like a gift shop at the
bar. Booker T, can you come with us to protect us?
Come on, Booker. I know you need to butter up.
Yeah, or tantalizing. We could have brought tantalizing Tony. He was another character. Sure. Whatever. Go listen to the episode. Tantalizing Tony was, in fact, tantalizing.
Tantalizing or tantalizing when he was really tan?
No, tantalizing. That was his handle. He was giving out business cards as Tantalizing Tony. He was a short, fat, stumpy. I don't know if he was Hispanic or what, but he was.
Please go somewhere with this.
No, that was because he was not a Tony. He didn't look like a Tony. He didn't act like a Tony. I don't know why he picked Tony as his handle.
Because he was like, tantalizing. Alliteration is so important to me.
I'll be Tony. It's like, you're clearly not a Tony. You're clearly not.
How about Tim? Tantalizing Tim?
No, he was.
That sounds like a pedophile.
I need a Tony, man.
Yeah. Ooh. Tony sounded better, but he was
Tantalizing Tony sounds like a bookie. Tantalizing Timmy sounds like.
I didn't say Timmy. I said tantalizing Tim.
They're both bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Is he tantalizing a Tim?
But I want to know what's tantalizing.
Tantalizing?
Tantalizing
is just he's really tan.
Okay. I was very confused.
Well, because he was I don't know what he's talking about.
He could have been
body
tan.
butter and like I'm like,
He could have been
this guy like he's selling tanning
tantalizing.
juice or whatever what is it called?
And it's called tantalizing.
Serum?
Yeah, tanning serum.
I think it's called serum.
Yeah.
It's usually called bronzer.
Well,
Lotion.
you gotta bring real
Serum?
names to do it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Like
we're
this-
doing
we had this
professional
cavalcade-
terminology.
How you
We
doing?
have this cavalcade of characters here. You're bringing in legitimate words.
Yeah, you think tantalizing Tony knows what that
I
means?
think
I
that's his
feel like he's a
birthday.
big fan of like the Australian
Do
gold
you think
bronzer.
that's his Christian name, Tantalizing Tony?
He walks around with an old rock WWE championship belt, like a Brahma Bull championship belt. And he had an entourage filming him. And I looked at his YouTube and he's got like 16 more views per video than I do. He's got thousands of followers, but nobody's watching his stuff. I almost felt bad. But in his world,
He's a star.
he is the most
Tantalizing.
famous. He is as tantalizing as anybody on that street.
And here
And
we are talking about him.
And he sucked me
He
right
wins.
in.
You know what?
Yeah,
That's
sucked me right in.
He
Yeah,
wins.
he
That's
did it.
marketing. That's how you do it.
You had to see him at the event. We actually saw him at the stadium during SummerSlam randomly. The night we met him on a Friday, and then we saw him again on Saturday. And he's out there. He's got box seats. I don't know how. There's no he stole them. There's no way this guy could afford box seats, and he's making it rain business cards out of the box into the stadium so people could go follow the Tantalizing Tony.
We're gonna have to look into this guy.
I think this guy just gets it though.
He
Maybe
does.
We're the
He's
ones
like, he's
missing
like,
something.
I don't know business. I just know people.
I know tantalization.
Well, I know it's like a thing. If you walk around with a film crew following you, people are gonna
Yeah.
like ask for your autograph.
Well, we
It's
did that.
happened.
We did that my first trip to Vegas for the Miss America pageant with Bonji and his brother. We were in, I forgot exactly where we were, maybe the Venetian somewhere. And we just had his brother BJ. We're like, hey, go walk over there and we're going to pretend like we want pictures with you. And it was like, oh, can I get your picture? And then somebody else came up and then Wet Cat came in and then Tucker came in. And then all of a sudden people are asking like, who is that? We're like, oh, I think it's Daryl Strawberry's son or something. Like we made up something. We made up some ridiculous thing. and random people started taking pictures. I don't remember where we were, a mall or some shit.
Horrible. Strawberry son. Yeah, fresh. Fresh strawberry.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh my
They did that in the only season I ever watched of The Apprentice was the first season because my language arts teacher in middle school, Miss Anish, her sister was on the first season.
Oh.
And so I was in sixth grade, so I was 12. So I watched the first season of The Apprentice. And they had to do one of their schemes and like make X amount of money selling whatevers. And this one team was struggling. So one of the guys who was on the team is like, yo, why don't you sit here? I'm going to get a bunch of like foam footballs and we're going to have you sign them and like we'll make a big deal about it. And they did, and they like won the challenge. And the other guy's like, they were out here like lying to little kids and like selling off these footballs because he was like, come and meet like whatever, like star of The Apprentice. And like they were just making like doing all this shit. And they sold like $1,000 worth of these mini footballs.
Oh my
the guy
God.
played football at like community college.
Oh God.
and it's business.
Well,
They were, I would say, tantalizing.
The business is the like the product is the human. You think you're selling footballs, but you just got to sell it to a couple of enough suckers.
Yep.
And that's that.
There you go.
And next thing you know,
Here we're
walking around with Daryl Strawberry's son.
Yeah.
And people are following us around the mall or wherever.
Fresh. Yeah, that's his name. Fresh.
Fresh Strawberry.
Fresh strawberry.
That's another
Fresh
real zinger.
Yeah.
Strawberry.
Pink strawberry.
But anyway,
It's so good.
we have fun here. Speaking of fun, step into the cage.
Okay, let's ride.
I'm cutting that part out. He doesn't say let's
You say I'm having a
ride.
hard on?
I said I'm cutting that part out.
He's having a hard on. I'm like,
You would. All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Mori Tanaka's homemade pepper bombs. You never know when 3 hoodlums are going to break into your house and kidnap your kids to bring them to their boss's lair. But with a batch of Tanaka's pepper bombs, you'll be ready to defend yourself from your ninja grandpa's arch nemesis. So to load up on a pepper bomb today, visit www.rockylovesemily.com and use the promo code TUMTUM for 3% off your first order.
There's 4 people in the world who are gonna get that joke.
And Crusher's the 4th.
Yeah. Francesca will get it. I think she watched that with us, probably, right? Why did she never watch the same movies as us? We were all in the same house. What was
she was
doing?
busy up in her room listening to Ace of Base and Hootie and the Blowfish and Spice Girls. Yeah. And, expressing her rage.
Yeah, she did great with it.
Yeah. She's still doing it.
She's doing a phenomenal job.
Doing a great job. So for the fact, you guys kind of brought the fact
Pete
in.
found the fact.
Well, there's a cage connect. The fact has got a cage connection to it. It's like an indirect fact towards Cage. 6 degrees of cageration.
That's
but
not a real thing.
it is now. But why don't you go ahead? Take it away.
So the whole can we talk about what the jabroni is going to be about so we can talk
The
about
Junction?
Yeah.
We are the jabronis.
But can we talk we can mention what it's going to be about so we can
We're not surprising anybody here.
Gotcha.
All we have to do is just fast forward and they'll find out.
So this weekend we watched Big Trouble in Little China. Me and you watched it twice.
Oh yeah.
Correct. Because I needed a refresher.
So yeah, we watched it last night. And then today we're like, this should be what we talk about on the podcast. And I'm like, we wanted you to be on the podcast. So I'm like, dude, I don't think you've seen it in a while. You should rewatch it.
Yeah.
We had to go to a birthday party. Like, oh yeah, I'll watch it this morning. And I'm like, well, we got a little time.
We got time.
Yeah, we got time. We can watch
it. So that's what the remainder is going to be. But Pete found an interesting fact about one of the writers,
Gary Goldman,
who wrote a movie called Big Trouble in Little China. Gary Goldman.
Correct.
Also responsible for Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
I think both, right?
Both.
Navy SEALs.
Yes.
With Charlie Sheen
and Michael Beans.
Oh,
yeah. And I have there's like a little story-esque thing right here. His career had slowed down by 2003. He had a good relationship with Philip K. Dick, who was a story writer.
Phil Dick.
Yeah, Phil Dick.
Oh boy.
And he was able to acquire the rights to his 1954 short story, The Golden Man. Goldman completed the script, and he sold it to Nicolas Cage's production company, Saturn Films, which eventually became the 2007 film Next. Unfortunately, the film was not a great critical or financial success.
It wasn't.
What was Next about? Excuse me.
Jeez, I can't.
You can explain Vampire's Kiss like that, so this movie must be really bad.
It was not bad. It was just not. It was
unmemorable.
It was like unmemorable. I'm trying to even think of which one it was. Was it the one where, what's his name? Guy Pearce. What's that guy's name?
Julianne Moore and Jessica Biel are in it.
No, that's not the one.
It tells a story of Chris Johnson, a small-time magician based in Las Vegas, who has limited precognition.
Oh, this is the one.
His ability allows him to see the immediate future.
The immediate future of like planes crashing and some other shit going on.
Like New Edition or whatever that.
Early edition. Yeah, that was the day before stuff. This was like within 30 seconds, this plane's going to crash kind of thing.
That sounds like it's not a useful.
No, not
tool.
at all. And neither was the film.
No.
But yeah, that was one of the writers.
So that's our Cage.
So that's the 6 degrees of separation from Cage. So that's the Cage fact.
If you like, it's like the Kevin Bacon game. If you can somehow connect.
When you're in 70 movies,
like when he's got more than 70 now.
Oh yeah, probably.
You can connect Big Trouble in Little China to Nick Cage. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. Like quickly, like within one.
Just like Nick Cage. Yeah. Incredible.
He's something.
Speaking of which, have you guys seen Pig yet?
No, we have not.
We've got.
I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing.
We're slacking, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we saw that crappy movie, The Green Knight. Then we saw a good movie, Free Guy.
We promised not to talk about that one.
The Green Knight. Who's in that one?
Oh God, can we not?
Just tell me who's in it.
I don't even remember the guy's name.
The very good Indian British actor who was
from Life of Pi, not Life of Pi.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog. Yeah. You told me about that.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah, the movie sucked.
Yeah,
it's just like Nick Cage movies sometimes suck. He's the best. Got it.
Okay.
And
then we saw a good
Free
movie.
Guy,
We saw Free Guy.
I
Free Guy.
looked pretty good.
Yeah, it was just fun.
Yeah.
A fun movie.
And then I saw The Protege, which was terrible.
The Prospector.
Wait, what were the two movies that we were talking about yesterday that I said these are the two movies Pete notoriously hates?
One was Interstellar.
Yeah.
for sure.
And wait. I remember the other one. You're going to remember it in a second. Don't say it. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Maybe not.
You saw it on a plane. And you
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't like that movie.
I got so pissed off. I had nothing else to do.
I was
on
a
a
plane.
plane.
Why? Because
And
what's
there
his
was-
name was in it? Grant. What's his name? Grant Hughes. Hugh Grant.
No,
Because
no, it was just.
I don't like him.
It was the fact that it was the twist at the end. No spoilers because I still don't know what happened because I turned off the movie.
There's a 3-year moratorium.
What's the
on
spin
spoilers.
at the end?
There was just something else that happened at the very end. I'm like, no.
Oh,
And then I stopped.
where they said that like the chick was part of it the whole time.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, and then it was part of it the whole time. I'm like, oh, double cross.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a quadruple cross.
No,
It
but there was
didn't-
an extra double in there.
yeah,
It was a hex cross.
That was like a 380. Y'all just ended up back at the same spot.
yeah. It
Or
was
a 360.
that part wasn't good, but the action was fun. I like the dynamic between Superman
and the cannibal.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Army Hammer.
Yeah.
No, but I legit like there was still an hour left in my flight, and I even paused the movie when that happened. And I thought, I don't want to finish this, and I looked, and there was only 10 minutes left, which I can only assume like 8 minutes were credits.
Yeah, you didn't
So
miss you didn't miss
stopped.
terribly too much at the end.
I
there.
know, but it was
Those are the
More
only
the
two movies
principle.
you had to come to me and be like, I have to tell you about. I remember
my favorite story about Interstellar is I ruined it for someone in a CVS because I was bitching about the movie to someone I was there with, and the person behind me online is with his kid in tow, and he literally says, "Excuse me, could you stop? You're saying the whole movie, and I want to see it,
So
and
go
you're
see
literally
it.
ruining the whole thing." I'm like, sorry, man.
Look, if you're getting that worked up over like someone spoiling a movie plot for you that you haven't seen yet, like your life is too good that you can focus that much negative energy
Yeah.
towards something and effort. Like
it's one thing if it was like the end of like who died at
Titanic?
the end of Endgame or something.
Well,
where
it's also like,
it's
how
like,
about
oh, come on, man, like don't be saying this out.
how
Like,
about why didn't that guy like reach out to me afterward after he went to see it and be like, I should have let you finish.
yeah, you should have given him your card and be like, you go see it today, man. You give me a call.
yeah, I'm doing you a
I could
favor.
have saved you that $20.
Stop bitching. Like
Yeah.
go get a hobby.
Now you know what movie never fails?
What movie is that?
Bad Lieutenant.
Big Trouble.
Big Trouble. Yeah.
In Little China.
We'll spin the logo up here for the Junction. But that, I mean,
Now talking
I'm
about
I'm
mythos.
actually bummed because I wore the Big Trouble tank in last week's
Well, you couldn't have
episode.
known.
I didn't know, but it was almost like a foreshadowing.
if
Like
you had that next precognition, you
subconsciously,
could have
yeah. If I had that cage
you would know 30 seconds
precog,
ago.
yeah, I would have known not to wear it. Like something tells me I'm gonna need to wear this next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now. Always save the Jack Burton tank for this house.
Yeah, because
All right.
there's never. There's always a time where you can just find yourself watching Big Trouble in Little
Yeah.
China again.
I'm probably going to watch it this week, to be honest. I'll probably watch it again.
Yeah, I'm actually like I would watch it again,
Yeah.
like even
It's-
today.
Yeah, just
Like,
for the I don't want to say dumb action, but blind action of
It's a
like
fun ride.
It's a
yeah,
fun movie. Like,
a lot of plot holes, but
are there
yeah,
plot holes? Like, what's
No,
a
plot
it's-
questions.
I would say contrived plot points.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
don't know what
it
that.
is.
I don't know what contrived
Contrived
means.
is like
We don't use big words here. We make up our own words here.
well,
Analyzing.
Yeah,
analyzing plot point. No, it's like the plot point that's like, oh, and I have this potion, and we're going to take this potion, and we could do everything. That's a contrived plot point. There was nothing in the plot that set us up that this was anything within the realm of what's happening. But then you realize that the realm of what's happening just continues.
well,
to be,
in that realm
in that
of
movie, at least.
ridiculous, it made sense. Here's my first thing was in the beginning of the movie.
I'm just going to tell you right now, Johnny. You told the line.
I'm not dogging on the movie. We watched it together, and I asked you the same question. What are you gonna do? Eat my leftovers?
Well, you bring plenty on the road with you.
Well,
so-
I always gotta have road leftovers.
Have road
I always
overs.
have to go
Road
chicken
overs.
farms.
Yeah, road
Yeah.
overs.
But in the beginning, when they're in the airport, picking up the fiance of the secondary character Wang. I don't remember his real name. All of a sudden, the Asian gang, the Chinese gang, happens to be there, and they're not looking directly for her. And I thought initially they were. They were looking for any Chinese woman coming off that flight that had green eyes,
right?
Because they grabbed Kim Cattrall's the girl that Kim Cattrall was waiting for. They grabbed her first, and they looked at her eyes. They're like, nope, she's not one of them. Tossed her away. And then they looked for the other one who happened to be the other character's fiance, and they're like, "That's the one. Bring her."
Wait, how do we know that they weren't looking precisely for her?
Because why wouldn't they know what she looked like?
Yeah, why they grab the other woman?
I mean,
because they're racist.
Yeah,
and they think they all look
alike. Did you see the glasses the guy had?
Yeah,
you could barely see anything out of
those. Those were like the glasses the guy was wearing in Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Biff's henchman. You
Billy
can't.
Zane?
No, it wasn't Zane.
It was the other guy.
It was the other guy, the non-Zane. Yeah, they were nothing glasses. They were just for show.
Well, they might have just known. They might have just gotten word back from China, like,
from
hey,
Lo Pan.
There's a green-eyed woman on the plane. But like they didn't. It's not like they took a cell phone picture of her. It's 1980.
They could have had a Polaroid. Or a fax.
By the time they mailed the Polaroid over,
what do you mean mail? They had 3 storms that can fly and transport anywhere. They had a 7-foot Asian guy with coke nails that can go through walls. You mean to tell me he couldn't go snag a quick photo of a girl?
Well, when you put
in China,
they have it developed and then bring it back.
Well, when you put it like that too, he's been like that for how many years?
Centuries. That's hundreds.
And yet he's still looking.
Millennia.
No, it was 2,000 years ago.
It was
the guy
several
said.
thousand years.
Yeah, he said it was like 2,224 years, or something like that. So you mean to tell me over 2,000 years he couldn't use his hoodoo magic and find a green-eyed woman?
No. They addressed this.
They addressed that, I think.
Because Jack Burton says all these years couldn't find another green-eyed girl. Come on, Lo Pan, you must be doing something wrong. And he's like, there have been others. But then
here's what happened.
He said something about like
the right one.
No, the right one is the one who can handle the fire sword, the burning blade.
Oh, right.
And if they can't,
both of them were able to.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds?
So over 2,000 years, nobody
was able to handle. And then at this particular moment in time, 86, they got the fiance and Kim Cattrall.
I wonder
Gracie
what
Law.
happens to I wonder how you don't survive the burning blade. Like, I wonder what happens. Like, if you just explode,
just like, ow, ow,
ow. Come on. And then
it's like when I hit it with the pin.
Yeah.
If it burns, they just say ow, and then he kills them, or he has the storms kill them, or something, or the monster do.
I just thought of the love needle prick.
Where he's
there's layers to that. You know what I mean?
There is thousands of years of layers.
Thousands of years.
You will come out no more.
But the beginning of the movie, I don't know if we were talking about maybe this morning when we watched it again, but the first scene of the movie is Kurt Russell in his rig, his big rig, the Pork Chop Express,
hauling ass,
and he's talking on a CB radio. But nobody's responded. He is the first podcaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's just talking like Jack Burton here. And everyone else. And what does he say? Like, if I paid my dues, well, let me tell you something.
Me if you paid your dues, I say, yes, sir. Checks in the mail.
And he's just talking to us. He's just recording, like hot micing. Incredible stuff.
Egg Shen is in the lawyer's office, which never gets. You don't know why he's in the lawyer's office.
Oh yeah, that's a dangling
never
thread.
Gets referenced again. I only know that scene from recently because we saw this movie a lot when we were younger, but when you were younger, you stumbled upon a movie. Like, it was never like, oh, it's going to be on HBO. Like, we weren't really TV guide people. Like, we didn't know, oh, it's going to be on 8:00 on a Friday.
Mystery.
Yeah. We would just stumble upon it and watch it the rest of the movie. For some reason, we always ended up starting that movie, whether on HBO or TNT. We started it when he pulls. Him and Wang are in the truck and they pull up to the funeral gang fight.
Right.
That's always that's in my mind.
There.
That's when the movie starts.
The movie starts with the two of them in the big rig hauling ass through Little China.
I really want to watch it again.
I'll watch it again.
I'll watch it again.
I said I would do it.
I gotta drive home. Maybe it's only an hour. It's only 100 minutes.
But maybe that scene in the lawyer office supports what you said about the first scene with Jack Burton in the truck talking is actually after the movie's already taken place.
No, see, that was his theory.
That was my theory.
That's your theory?
No.
I think because then that would make sense because that first couple scenes are after all the events.
Right, because he talks about Kurt Russell in his podcast in the beginning, talks about like an 8 foot tall, I forgot what he called it, target or enemy or whatever.
Right.
I think it was just
and it was he was wearing the same thing. It was raining. I'm pretty sure he did not have. Actually, you know what? He did have the trailer on the back of his rig, so maybe it was different.
Yeah,
because I was like, man, he's going really fast in the rain. That's very unsafe.
Think of it from. Listen, are we going to say this is the most best edited movie ever? No.
Yes,
but I mean,
I guess we'll agree to disagree on that one.
But it's not. It was not so bad in that they would have Egg Shen talking to the lawyer. Then they would have him in the truck, supposed to be from after the movie, and then just transition into him in the truck. And now it's supposed to be the beginning of that. That was all one sequence.
Correct.
It was him driving, and you were getting a sense of the character. I think it was foreshadowing. Like, what's some 8 foot tall? I think he's just talking about like he's just talking. What's some 8 foot tall guy in the bar comes up to you. You give him my old knuckle sandwich, whatever he says. It was just. I think it was a foreshadowing, and I think before the adventure starts, I think Jack Burton has a very high opinion of himself. I think he gets brought down to earth a little bit throughout the sequence of the movie, but then at the end finds his true hero self.
I think you're a loser. And that's coming from a loser's opinion. I think he is correctly confident in his abilities throughout the entire movie.
We even said this last night. He just keeps failing to success. The entire movie. He
successfully failing.
He screws up and somehow wins each time.
Every single time.
The movie moves because the bottle chop didn't work.
Yes.
What was with that? It was just that he could do it at home and it didn't work with that.
He was so nervous about picking up his fiance he hasn't seen in 10 years.
His mind, his soul was
and
not
body were
north and south.
Yeah.
So let's explain this scene. So this is key.
Let's break it down.
Because
this is an important scene.
This is a key scene here.
If this scene doesn't happen,
no,
the movie doesn't happen.
So they're playing some betting game all night, cash only, shocker, in Little China.
Was it
throughout
Mahjong?
the night?
And that's not.
It wasn't Mahjong. No, they were doing some weird
dominoes. Almost like a dominoes.
Yeah, some weird dominoes guessing game.
Mahjong isn't Mahjong is just cards.
I think so.
Yeah, and Jack Burton is playing with his pal Wang, who I guess he sees regularly on his routes. And they play all night, and he ends up taking Wang's money. And Wang challenges him to a double or nothing, which for whatever reason, the dude he incorrectly says it the entire movie. He goes, nothing or double, Jack, nothing or double.
I think people call it that sometimes.
I've never heard it until Wang said it. And maybe I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was like his point of view is it's either nothing for me or double for you. And double for you, but it's double. The saying is double or nothing. That's it.
But it's not in reference to the odds. It's in reference to we're going to do this again, double, or we're not doing anything at all.
Yeah. You're losing it all. You're doubling you're winning your bet, or you're losing it. You're losing it all.
Yeah.
So whatever. His challenge was, I bet you that I can use this machete. It wasn't a full machete. It was some conglomerate. You watched Forge and Fire.
Yeah, it was like a
Asian machete.
It was like a modified kukuri.
It was not a kukuri.
Yeah, it was. It had that little thing.
No, not that. The one he had was
kukuru, like the chicken places that Puff Daddy owned in Get Him to the Greek.
The three storms, they threw kukuris.
Oh,
yeah, they had those. It was not like that. It was a machete with the top cut off, like a flat.
Yeah. I think there's a Filipino blade.
There's a name for that. And he's like, I bet you I can cut this glass bottle in half with this machete, which doesn't make sense. It's wild, but this is before we knew about the magic and the dark,
forces,
the dark arts. Yeah. And he goes to do, Jack's like, fine, go for it. And he goes and he misses. He hits the bottle, and instead of breaking it, it ricochets off and slides. And of course, the reflexes of Jack Burton, he snags it.
Now you're missing,
sets you up.
You're missing an important part.
What are we missing?
He takes the bet. He says, all right, nothing or double. But not that bottle.
Use this bottle.
He used this bottle. and he switches it. Now, what if he didn't switch it?
I think he was trying just to prevent any sort of trickery.
I think he was getting in his head,
fuckery.
and you know what? I think it worked.
Well, he was definitely in his head. So then he misses that, and then Burton goes, "All right, well, pay up." And he's like, "I don't have the money." He's like, "Too bad. Pay, like, give me the money." He goes, "I don't have it here. I got to go get it." He goes, "Okay, let's go to your restaurant that you own and we'll get it." He goes, "I have to go pick someone up at the airport first." And he goes, "All right, follow me." And then he starts giving his defense, like, "I'll follow you so you make sure you're not dodging me." And then they converse for a little bit, and then he convinces Wanks. He's like, "Okay, I'll drive you to the airport, and then we'll go to the restaurant."
I love
because he just wanted his money.
Right.
He hasn't seen this woman in years. That's
what he
his
said.
True love. His
Yeah,
fiance.
they just write to each other and send Polaroids.
And she's finally coming to America. And he spends the entire night before gambling and drinking, and then acts like he has to go pick up like
someone. He said, "I have to go
store.
pick someone up from the airport."
Wait. Before I go give you the money, I just got to run to the airport real quick and just grab the love of my life.
Yeah. Like, "Hey, love of my life."
More sleep last night.
I just pissed all my walking around money away to some truck driver, and I'm tired and drunk. Yeah.
Imagine if they didn't kidnap her, and she's like, "Oh, who's this guy? This is my buddy Jack."
Yeah, I owe him some money.
$3,000.
Yeah, a lot.
I couldn't cut a bottle.
And he came with me here to make sure I pay up.
Yeah.
How was the flight?
That was your flight. And she came to live and start her life with him. And she came with an old like attorney's box, like you just got fired from your job.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. No clothes.
Nope.
Just a box full of tchotchkes.
Valuables.
Yeah.
Like everybody at the end of
paper cranes.
The Big Short.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody leaving their office.
Just
with
The
moving out.
boxes.
That was it. Those
But
boxes.
the other thing about the bottle, though, is what precipitates the story, and that eventually is what ends the story.
The reflexes, you
The
mean?
reflexes.
Yeah.
Him with the reflexes.
Right. Well, that's another that's how another like
foreshadowing.
example of him failing successfully at the
Right.
end
Because he threw the knife and missed.
Yeah.
at Lopan, and then Lopan throws a knife and he catches it by the handle
And throws it back.
and throws
in
it
his
right
forehead.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
reflexes.
Now, the more I watch it, the more I do understand the mythology a little bit going on.
Like the history of it, the fake history.
because like they throw out a bunch of names and it can get confusing. But I think I got a handle on it.
Lay it on me.
Send it.
So Lopan was like a very mean warlord in 2000. He said 232 BC China, and then he does a bunch of bad things. And then the first sovereign emperor of China, the first emperor to like unite all the counties, or
Chinese.
provinces,
Provinces, I
Yeah.
guess you could say.
puts a curse, like banishes him, and then uses like the Jendai, I think his name was, like the god of the East, and puts a curse on him that he will like be of no flesh and he'll live forever, but of no flesh and blood until he has to marry a woman with green eyes to satisfy the god.
He has
And
to
then- and then
marry
he must kill her.
and sacrifice her.
He has to marry her for the god and then sacrifice her to appease the emperor.
Right.
And so that's where our story picked. 2,000 years, flash forward 2,000 years,
Right.
Jack Burton.
Also, how many green-eyed women were killed?
How many green-eyed women?
Women were killed over 2,000 years, I think. From
There
that
were
guy.
some skeletons, like when they were,
Skellingtons.
There's a couple
now this
Jack
is contagious.
Skellingtons.
when they were in the warehouse, and then when the water was
When
coming
the water
up,
comes up,
there
it's
was
on.
there was some scattered skeletons that might have been.
Yeah, there were
No.
skeletons throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I'm not sure if they were put there just like when you go into like a fake haunted house and they just throw a
I
skull
thought-
in the corner.
I thought
Yeah.
maybe thinking back now, they could have been all the other failed green eye.
yeah, that's
could
what I'm
be.
thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
But were they alive when they were in the water, or was it just meant to seem like that? Because it looked like one of them was possessed and like going to grab for them when the water was coming up.
There was a possessed skeleton.
We're all
Yeah.
stuck, man.
There was a possessed skeleton in the elevator.
Used to touch him sexually. It's like from Men in Black, the guy from from Independence Day.
Independence Day.
The other
Your-
Will
your
Smith.
90s,
The other alien.
your
Yeah.
90s
Will
Will
Smith
Smith
movies.
alien movies.
Mixing them up. Yeah.
Now, I think Kurt Russell's performance is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think he knew what was going on,
Right.
and he was like, and he didn't overdo it. He did it just enough where he fit into the campiness, but didn't like go too far where it was like nonsense. It's like, oh yeah, whatever this world is of nonsense, this guy is definitely a character in it. Like this guy belong with magic and he's throwing explosive marbles.
But could he have
Pepper
been
bombs.
Pepper bombs.
Could he have been any more ridiculous?
Who, Egg Shen? Or
No,
or Jack?
no. I mean, everyone else in the movie is pretty ridiculous. But like Kurt Russell, like, would we even know? Because the backdrop is so bonkers in
Here's
the whole
the thing.
movie.
I think if you look at it from like an actual, like a clear real world viewpoint, he is pretty ridiculous because he handles all this
In stride.
super well.
Well,
In
I
stride.
think
Like first of all, everybody else is so chill. Like, yeah, man, this kind of shit happens all the time.
well,
Like,
all the people
what are you
who
talking
live
about? This is
all the
lightning
people
guys.
who live there, they all are Chinese. They all believe in the lore. Like
But
that's
they
that's
act-
their world. So when it happens, they just like, oh, the prophecy's coming true
Yeah,
or whatever.
But we were raised Catholic. If Jesus just started walking across the Passaic River, we would be like, "What the hell?" We would be like, "Oh yeah, we
This is unbelievable.
unbelievable."
Yeah.
They're all acting like this happens every day.
It must have happened in the something like you think Egg Shen, the tour guide, with all his magic elixirs and stuff,
We'll get it.
is not used. He's never used them ever. People just like,
But we also have to remember that the heart of this movie, it does not take place in China where all these beings and everything originated from. It takes place
in Little China.
in San Francisco,
Yeah. China.
which I told Johnny, I'm like, this is like if Jupiter and Apollo had this big fight like
In
this
Manhattan.
in Manhattan, like this epic thousands of years war. That's where, like, why is Lopan living there?
That's
Why
where
is he
was
living in San
banished
Francisco?
to.
Oh, he was banished 2,000 years ago to California.
That's how Little China came about.
And civilization built around Lopan.
It was Pangea, so they were all the same.
It was Lopan.
And he was Lopangea. David Lopangea. And what happened was he was banished to a certain part of the Pangea, and he was in his touch tunnels in the dungeons, and things separated. And then when he came out of the dungeon, he was just like, I guess this is Little China.
I'm not going to say plot holes, but there are some, like, they throw out some mythos lines that I'm like, what? Like when they go into the tunnel.
They're a little fast and loose with the mythological and like legendary stories
when
or
they
whatever.
slide down the gold pole, like that.
The fire
that
pole
Egg Shen had in his apartment
built into the
Correct.
sewer
He's
system.
like, I happen to have an entryway to this mythological underground world.
Well, he owns the
whole block.
Wang
He's a
said-
wealthy man.
Yeah,
he's a
very
wealthy
wealthy.
As they're down there, Kurt Russell, again, very casually, is like, well, like, what's all this like underworld?
But at
magical
that point, he was already deep in it. He witnessed it.
Yeah.
He saw at the funeral earlier on. He saw this at this Chinese
yeah.
funeral, and then all the ninjas, and then the three storms and the green how you doings. He was in it.
And then Egg Shen says, like, he's like, what is all this? And Egg Shen says something along the lines of, oh, thousands of years ago, like the world, like there was a massive earthquakes and the world turned itself upside down, and like all these evil creatures were allowed to roam free.
He didn't sound like Danny DeVito.
But that's what he said.
Yeah.
It was a bloodbath.
It was a bloodbath.
No,
That's Rambo.
that happened to me. But he says something like, there was these massive earth and the world turned itself upside down, and these creatures were allowed to roam free. I'm like,
Pangea.
wait, but where have they
Where
been?
are the creatures now?
Is it just the four of them?
No, like
the three storms or whatever?
No. There was the monster that kidnapped Kim Cattrall.
Oh, that's right.
There
don't
was the
explain.
Spider-Man that comes out no more.
There's one spider that he threw the
spider.
marbles at.
Yeah.
There was the
head
the
with the eyes.
eyeball head.
Yeah, with all the eyes.
Yeah.
So there was a
It
bunch
looked
of
like
stuff.
Slimer.
Yeah, there was a bunch.
Was
of
there
stuff.
any breadcrumbs for something like reincarnation in the movie or no?
Oh God, man, I don't think so.
I don't remember.
No?
No.
Well, here's the thing. They
What
don't
watch
even-
it again.
What if
check.
Egg Shen's like the emperor?
Well, here's another question. Who the fuck is Egg Shen?
That's what I'm saying.
He's
Like,
a goddamn-
He's not just a guy
Wait,
there.
he's a-
They know it.
tour
Lopan
guide.
knows him.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Look,
saying,
They're
dude.
rivals.
Yeah. Egg Shen. I talked to you about
Yeah.
this last night. Egg Shen, first of all, he's a tour guide in San Francisco called the Egg Foo Young Tours on his bus.
Right. It's a food.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a play on words.
It's a
I know he's using his name to brand it. Got it. Whatever. But then he talks about he's the one who knows the history, and he's been fighting Lopan for like trying to do this for years,
Right.
and this and that. How do we know that Egg Shen is not also in the same predicament? Like he's been there thousands of years waiting for his green-eyed equivalent.
Well, here's the
and
thing.
he has to kill. His thing was he has to kill Lopan to get whatever.
he's got.
I will say because he shares none of the fit. Like Lopan is either tall with the makeup and the gown, but like then he can't touch anything.
That's a ghost.
Yeah,
a ghost.
Or he's in the.
Or
the
he's old,
decrepit.
shriveled man. Egg Shen just seems to be Egg Shen.
He's just an old, decrepit man.
But he's not that really that old. He's fine. He's all right. He's doing okay.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, he did fine.
He did. Oh, he drank that serum.
He drank the magic Gatorade,
which I think was snake oil because he had everyone drink it. They're in the elevator. Everyone's talking like, "Oh, I feel really good. I feel confident." And he looks over at Jack Burton and he gives him a wink. Egg Shen gives him a wink.
Yeah.
Like, I just gave you guys drugs. Like, you guys are high. There's no secret potion. You can't fly. You're just high as kites.
I think
this is the 80s. This is the 80s we're talking about here.
If none of the movie happened,
it's all in his head.
They're all in an opium den in San
They're all
Francisco. It's like in their minds.
They're all tweaking out on peyote or something.
It was like the South Park when he's
in the virtual reality.
Yeah, when he starts getting older, and so he just starts hearing shit. And so the only way he can see through the Matrix is to get drunk.
Yeah.
But then to everyone else, he's just like a drunk asshole. But in his mind, he's like actually seeing the real world.
So these 5 people and their team are going through this entire story, fighting ghosts and storms
and
Spider-Mans and creatures. And then people on the outside are just watching.
Like,
and there's no music. There's no action. You just see a bunch of like tweaked out druggies sitting in a room like, just crawling on top of each other, sweating,
throwing knives at each other.
I think there's something to it.
I hope that's not the case.
What if it's all just Jack Burton like dozing off behind the wheel, driving his big rig, and this is what he dreams about?
And that's why
his way down an embankment.
Yeah, he drove off a bridge. That's why they can't find him.
That's why they can't. He's like, don't you worry about Jack Burton. He's long gone. That's what he says. He's long gone.
We tied the loose ends.
But let's assume for a minute that the film posits that these events are really happening.
Nobody's positing anything here in this fucking show. One more time with the big words, and you're both off.
Final warning.
Take him off and see how you do with your equipment here.
Yeah.
Just him in the bathroom.
No, it'll just be me.
Tape recorder.
Sitting on the shitter.
With the Home Alone 2 tape recorder.
All right, jabronis, we're back.
Oh, that was a good one. I wish I got the
sorry
mic
about
on it.
Yeah. Oh, there's no batteries.
Yeah. I clogged the damn toilet again.
Damn it, boy.
Yeah. All right, let's step into the cage.
And you just get into the shower.
Yeah. You hear the shower curtain close,
and you're holding like we're in the cage.
Yeah. All right, we're in.
So let's assume that everything is
talk about content gold.
Oh my god.
Anyway, continue the joke.
Everything that's going on is real.
Is actually happening.
So don't forget, although Wang is really good at karate, everyone who has fought the 3 storms up to this point was like nowhere near a match. When he drinks the juice, he beats Rainstorm guy relatively easily. He throws his sword at him and kills. And he was flying
in that totally implausible way of throwing a sword.
They were flying.
Physically speaking, he wasn't that aerodynamically. That sword was not really killing him.
And they were flying. Remember, they were flying next to each other, fighting sword.
Correct.
As they're floating. Like, so I think if the reality is real,
there was real potion.
The juice is real.
I don't think so. I think it was that like Wang's got it in his head and it was like a mental block and he got a little drunk or whatever drugged. And then it was like, oh, I got this.
And it just cleared him up again because.
But this is the same guy who couldn't crack a bottle earlier.
Because he wasn't in the right state of mind.
Right.
Oh, so the juice made him go
his soul
and
his mind were thinking about Su Yin. What's her name? Min.
Mian?
We got to be careful.
Yeah.
We got to be careful.
Dangerous.
Anyway.
Let's talk about you in the bathtub.
This is the last episode here. Thank you. Good night. Flush. But so I think he got his mind back and he was able to do this because why wasn't Jack Burton able to do anything out of the ordinary for him? He was still missing guys with throwing the knives. He was still having guys like
he had that one guard guy with the heavy armor on fall on him and
he pulled the knife out of his boot.
He shot the ceiling and got knocked out when the concrete hit him.
Right. Yeah. Like they gave him the placebo. Yeah. They gave him like just the Rufalin and everybody else had the magic elixir.
That's why Egg Shen winked at him.
Yeah.
I got you.
I got you. Yeah.
When
you wake up, your ass is going to hurt. And you're also going to be off an embankment. And then they do this weird symbol. this.
Yeah, I think I'm doing it right.
Yeah. It's not that hard.
Knuckles
It's,
in.
Yeah.
it's just the L7 weenie minus the 7.
But yeah, so I think because then also he had the 7 demon bag, which was like a bag made of hair.
Yeah, it was like
yeah.
a fur bag.
Yeah,
Made of that like the one demon that grabbed King Cottrell that she kicked in the sack.
He's like, I got a 7 demon bag. He's like, 7 demon bag, beautiful, tremendous. What's in it?
Which also is the demon that will possibly try and kill Jack Burton.
Yeah, I mean, the ambiguous ending, I think, because don't forget, John Carpenter directed Kurt Russell in The Thing, which I don't know if it was before or after this. I want to say it was before this,
I think.
which had one of the great sci-fi horror movies of all time and had a very ambiguous ending. And I think they were trying to recreate a little bit of that magic. But are we just to assume that after all this, like Jack Burton just dies from an animal, mind you, that Kim Cattrall scared off by kicking him in the leg?
She didn't scare him. She
kicked him in the leg and he ran off.
That part. Yeah. I was thinking about when she kicked him in the sack daddy and he went down like a sack of bricks.
Yeah. I don't think Jack's in any danger.
I think that they did that. So let's explain it for the absolute heathens who haven't seen this movie yet.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, Jack Burton's back in his rig. He's driving away. It's raining again. It's night. He's talking on his podcast, CV Radio. And then the one monster who grabs King Cottrell earlier in the movie just pops up at the back of his rig outside. And he's like smiling. And then the movie ends. I think they did that to open it up for a sequel.
Bigger Trouble.
Like a Bigger Trouble in same
slightly
China.
bigger China.
Yeah.
Where he actually goes to real
China. Yeah, in China. So I'm glad they didn't have a sequel. I know they were talking about doing a remake
with The Rock.
I hope they don't. I hope it dies.
Here's what I would pay.
No.
I would not for a sequel. I would pay all the money in my bank account, which is not a lot. But I would pay all of it tomorrow
rent
to have Kurt Russell on a podcast, whoever's podcast, for 2 hours as Jack Burton. Like, I want you to act, like, answer the questions as Jack Burton would answer them. Wear the tank top, grow out the. He still has great hair, Kurt. He's doing well. Grow out the hair again. Get the weird high boots.
Oh, those boots were they like
how many knives in those boots by our count? 4?
Well, it was also the same brand, so I don't know if it was the same knife he kept putting back in.
No, because I remember a couple times there wasn't a knife there, and then he went to another spot where there was another knife.
It was very strange.
Do you think? Do we actually think he had multiple, or are we just talking about continuity errors?
No, because he was like, "Oh no, it's not there," and then he went to go get another knife. Like it was part of the.
It could have been multiple knives. I don't know. He had a lot of boot space to add a lot of knives.
Those boots were like Luftwaffe, like German high command, like
they were like the boots that chicks wear in the fall, the Han Solos.
The Han Solo boots.
No, I thought they were like leather though.
Chicks wear the leather shit.
No, they wear like that thin leather. I'm talking. This is like durable, like all weather leather.
No, they just look thicker because they had all those knives in there.
Yeah, exactly.
All those knives for padding.
Yeah, these chicks aren't going to pumpkin patches with knives. They don't need all that extra pocket space.
Need knife space. They're not going to Little China.
No, they're not going to Little China. They're going to pick apples and I don't know. Talk about
places where
scissor each other.
Places where there's not big trouble is
right.
where they're going.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's going to where there's big trouble.
There's only big trouble in Little China.
Right.
Correct.
Apparently, according to them.
Thing.
What?
Is it a perspective thing? Because it's
everything's
Little
relative,
China.
Yeah.
And also, do they call it Little China?
No.
Did they call it China?
They never even say.
Is it because they're
No. I'm asking you as somebody who's been to California.
Oh, no,
do they call the Chinatown? Yeah,
it's Chinatown.
I think that was just a play on words. Because Big Trouble in Chinatown sucks. That's a shitty title.
Egg Shed even calls it Chinatown in the movie when he's doing his bus tour.
Right.
He's like, "Welcome to Chinatown."
Welcome to Little China.
Welcome to Little Chinatown.
Italian town.
Which is funny because like in New York, it was Chinatown that took over Little Italy.
Yeah. Big Trouble in Little Italy. Very different movie.
Very different movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a mob movie.
We've seen that before. Yeah, we've seen that before.
Oh.
It's called The Sopranos.
But what if you you juice it up with some kind of like Christian mysticism thing?
See, I was going to go like
Da Vinci Code?
I was going to go Roman
like
mythology. I was going to go Roman
or that.
Yeah.
That works too.
Now,
but then you have fat Goombas trying to figure it out.
Or doing like
Jack Bertoloni is the main character.
Jack Bertolini.
Instead of Egg Shed, it's just like
Cannoli, yeah.
Tony
And
Rigatoni.
cream, yeah.
Tony
Tony
Rigatoni. They all
Rigatoni.
drink some grappa before they go into the final battle.
That's the serum. Yeah,
the serum.
and like,
Kim Cattrall is Marissa Tomei from
Yeah.
My Cousin Vinny.
and all their
Chewing gum throughout the whole
weapons
movie.
are really just like the knife is just like a gold Italian horn with a handle, and he just,
And they had
It's a
just,
letter
stilettos.
yeah, it's a letter and he pulls it off his chain.
The end song would be better. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that was another one.
that's
The
atrocious.
theme song at the end was
There was
weak.
one part that I harped on when we watched it, and then I mentioned it again when they're escaping from the warehouse. I don't know, midpoint through the movie. This is before they organize for the final showdown.
This is when they lose Kim Cattrall to the hair.
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
This is after they trick the guys thinking of tell them the guards that they're the
Yeah,
telephone
that- that-
company.
Because
While
he-
carrying a telephone.
So here, yeah, I gotta talk about that real quick.
Yeah,
Okay, remember
The
your
proof is in
story.
the pudding.
Yeah, so they have to go into this one particular area to find the dungeon lair or whatever.
right.
They go through they have to beat the guard. So Jack Burton carries a house landline telephone to walk through and tell them, I'm with the phone company. Like that was his whole cover is if I'm carrying a phone and tell them if I just say the words telephone company,
They'll
they
know.
will believe me.
Yeah.
And it worked.
And it did.
It did.
Walked right through.
I love when they're walking out and they're like, "Oh yeah, we fixed that problem. All we need for you guys is to reach for the
Reach
sky."
for the skies.
And he pulls out- But so as they were escaping, he finally like fixes his gun, and there's a guy who's about to kill Wang, and Kurt Russell shoots him, and he like stares there for a minute, like kind of like
Yeah.
absorbing the fact that he just took a man's life and then Eddie, the maitre d at Wang's restaurant, is
Yeah.
like, "What was the first time you plugged somebody?" And he's like, "No." Like, oh, Eddie, you're
He
out
said-
there.
What
You're
did
out
he
there.
say?
You're out there killing people.
Yeah, what did he say? Like, do this all the time or something like
I think
that.
he just said, "Of course not," or something.
Of course, yeah, something like that.
And he's like, "Oh, was it the first time you killed somebody?" I'm like, "You're the maitre d and you're also like the only character in this movie that does not kick ass."
Correct.
Yeah, he
Helpless.
doesn't kill anybody in the movie, and there's clearly no evidence to suggest that he's ever killed anybody. But his like
He's
little
like, I do
shit,
this 2 times a
his
week.
little
Yeah.
shit talk jab of like, what is this? Your first time you killed? Like,
No,
yeah,
sure.
it is, jackass.
Yeah,
Have
what?
you killed someone? You stupid
Maybe
puss.
maybe there's a weird backstory where he's like a retired Navy SEAL's like never again.
No, he's not.
Like
no.
the Unforgiven, like I'll never take a life again.
Yeah,
No.
no shot. There's no shot that Eddie, who had a crush on a girl named Margot, is killing bitches left and right.
It's just slaying.
Is
bitches
slaying
left and right.
bitches in a
Yeah, he's just-
upside down world.
Now I
Straight
will
beta
say,
bitch boy.
Oh,
as horrible as
be.
it sounds, and your response was so good. We weren't even looking at each other. We're watching the movie last night. It's like 7:30, and the movie's going on, and I'm like, "Is it just me, or are you craving?" And I'm like, "Do you really want Chinese food?" He's like, "Craving it." Like, then he looked like dying,
dying for it. That's what I said. I'm like dying for it right now.
And we got it. We got it from Peking House.
There you go.
Peking, by the way, I had to Google this because I forgot, is Beijing. It was an old name for Beijing. So
Oh.
there's no Peking anymore. It's Beijing.
It's Beijing.
If you say Peking, do they,
I mean, they know.
do they take you and disappear you?
No.
You just
Do you
gotta
have
say,
to-
you just have to.
Do you have to
say an
apologize in
apology.
Chinese and Mandarin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I better go. Learn
But I
that.
wonder if it was always Beijing, and I wonder if Peking was like some kind of like butchered English way,
I'm saying
because
Beijing.
how they say Beijing in their accent, which I'm not going to attempt to do now, but it might come off like sounding like Peking, and then stupid like colonial people were just like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, Peking."
Well,
I don't know
it's
why
funny you-
Danny DeVito is a colonial guy.
So I was listening to, again, one of Theo Vaughn's podcasts, The King and the Sting, and they had Stevie Weeby on it, which is Bobby Lee's brother, comedian. And he was talking about how his real name is not Steve, it's something else. It's a
Yeah.
Korean name, and the whole Asian community, or at least the Korean community, changes and gives their kids like not fake names but unofficial American names because the school system, it would be too hard for them to pronounce. So they're just like, we don't want to deal with it. If anyone asks, your name is Steve.
You're Bobby.
Yeah, and you're Bobby, and then their real names are whatever.
Yeah, they're lost to time.
Yeah, so I could see Peking being like a bastardization, like somebody in America just
Yeah.
like, what are you saying, Peking? All right, we'll name our Chinese food restaurants that.
And the duck.
Yeah,
Now, star-studded in terms of at the time Asian actors.
Correct.
They were all in it, except for Jackie Chan. I think
he was still doing porn at that point.
I don't think Jackie Chan was ever.
There's a rumor.
Okay.
You heard
Rush
it
Hour?
here.
Yeah.
You heard it here for the third time.
Yeah.
Rush Hour. It only lasts 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I can't remember any of their names. But you have Egg Shen was in Three Ninjas.
Yep.
Playing an entirely different race because I believe he's Japanese American in Three.
Mori Tanaka.
Tanaka is Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe you.
You really don't know? Like you can't tell?
I could tell there's a difference. I don't know which nationality goes to which.
I can understand like the subtle differences between like Chinese and Japanese like names like Tanaka or Natsugumi, like something like that. Nakatomi Plaza is always going to be more Japanese.
There was a way when we were children to decipher the difference. I'm not going to mention it here because it's got to be canceled since then.
You got to tell me offline.
I will tell you offline.
We'll circle back on that.
There was a thing that people used to do at recess so you could figure out.
Did it involve dirty knees?
Yes.
Okay.
It did. It definitely involved dirty knees horrible. And looking at these.
We were terrible.
Everybody was terrible. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah,
we didn't know any better though.
Everyone.
Yeah. Which is not an excuse. I mean, I know Nazis used to use that excuse too, and I don't buy it. But we were also kids, There
were kid Nazis.
Nazi youths.
The
two youths.
The two youths.
The two Nazi youths.
So you had
so you
had Mori Tanaka.
Yep.
Care about Tanaka. Then Lo Pan, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but he's been in everything. He was in
He's a big
Balls
timer.
of Fury.
Yep.
He was the dad in Kung Fu Panda. He played the goose, the panda's dad.
He was the host in at the Chinese restaurant of the Seinfeld episode Chinese restaurant.
With like a few more minutes, they had to wait. Or something.
Cartwright.
Yeah,
that's what he kept calling Costanza Cartwright.
Yeah, he's been in a lot.
Great episode.
Two of the guys in the different gangs, one guy in the gold gang, one guy in the red gang, were both in separate Lethal Weapons.
Yeah.
One with the guy with the bald here, but then long hair and big mustache.
Yeah.
He was in Lethal Weapon 1. He was the one who was shocking Mel Gibson with the electrocuting him.
I believe he was in Dumber and Dumber as well.
He might have also been. He might have also been in Die Hard. I think he was in Die Hard.
He could have been. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. He was. I thought he was the chef.
You confused Dumb and Dumber and Die Hard?
in Dumb and Dumber where Jim Carrey's having the dream that he's with Mary Swanson in the restaurant and the chefs come out to fight him and there's that one ninja chef and that's he rips his heart out,
puts in the doggy bag.
Yeah,
it might be.
I think it was him because it was the same hair and mustache combination.
Yeah, I only saw that movie once
because I made you.
Yeah,
I bartered. I forget what you did for me.
You had to watch.
I don't want to know what he did for you to watch that movie.
Yeah,
well, you had to watch something that I picked. So I
guess it was something like that.
Yeah, it was
Jackie Chan's for Rush Hour.
It was a
3
2
minutes.
for 1. I got to pick 2 movies. You got to pick 1.
And I picked Dumb and Dumber because you've never seen it.
Yeah, and it was a waste.
False.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Hot take.
I know Crusher's gonna.
He's not gonna be happy about it. He still talks about
it. He's gonna crush that one with his manly thighs.
With
his big jack thighs,
like a watermelon.
But he's been in so that one guy was in Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, perhaps Dumb and Dumber, and then one of the guys in the Gold gang was in Lethal Weapon 4, which oddly enough,
which we just watched the other day,
and I believe Starsky and Hutch,
and he
with the knife throwing.
Yes, he was in Starsky and Hutch.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
you know the scene where when
they go to the apartment
and they're throwing knives at each other.
The little kid pops out.
Yeah.
We watched that recently too.
That's such a funny movie.
Underrated.
Very underrated.
It's a really good movie.
That Dodgeball, I feel like all those movies. I feel like 40-Year-Old Virgin keeps like the crown.
If I remember correctly, Dodgeball didn't age as well.
It didn't.
I watched it recently.
Ben Stiller's character is the same as he was in Heavyweights, just with a different name.
Oh yeah,
and
exactly.
Me personally, I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
It's still funny. I still like watching it if it's on TV or whatever, but
like
it doesn't age as well. I like Steve. Yeah, Scurvy.
But
what's your other Asian? What's your favorite samurai sword? There was the other guys too.
The three storms.
Yeah.
Which we got to talk about their weapons, which you called out beautifully today. They're absolutely useless weapons that they had.
Completely useless.
So the one guy had spoons that were attached to his hand.
They were on rings, like on his
Yeah.
fingers, like this.
and they were, like flat against his hand, and then they would spin like a helicopter.
Propellers. And he would hold them like this, and then he would hold them like this.
And just go, and people were just like, I'm not messing with this guy.
Yeah, like, oh, he's gonna blade me.
His hand?
He had like
No.
hand weed whackers. No, he held. They were elevated above long enough so that it wouldn't cut his hand. Yeah, so he was like shaving his pubes with it or something, and he was just like mowing people down, going like.
But he wasn't. You never actually see them.
People
use-
they ran.
Yeah. They saw the spoon hands.
Right.
I'm getting the hell out of
The other guy at least he had those that handheld blade like double blade action.
I don't
thing.
remember what
The big guy?
Lightning guy had.
No, Lightning had.
Lightning had spoon
had
hands.
the,
I don't
he had
remember, I don't
weed
remember
whacker.
what Big Guy had.
Thick Boy had. He had these actual useful blades that like it was a blade up
And they
top
came
like a
apart,
knife,
and they were identical blades.
and then
Had a
and there was a
handle.
blade around his
Yeah.
hands
There's a
too.
blade here and at the top on both sides.
Yeah.
That was on Forge and Fire.
And
I
he
can't remember
could-
what it was called, but it was definitely on Forge. And they had to make two identical ones because they came in pairs.
Right.
And then
And then the third
the
guy,
Rain guy,
with the long flowing
Yeah.
locks.
who like made like this face a lot.
Yeah, he was a very, very creepy fella. Very creepy. But he had what I can only
Wait, don't we have
describe.
one over there? Don't we have something over, like look next to the? I thought we had like a picture.
Oh, we do. Stand by. Oh, all the text's gonna go away. Like, so he had this grabber, but with like
A claw hand.
it wasn't even a claw. It was a rake.
It was like
And it didn't
rake
move.
fingers.
It didn't move at all. Like the rake's hands weren't moving. He was just like moving the rakes up and down. He had dual grabbers.
He did like a whole thing and then dropped them.
You see him use them once from like a distance where he just like kind of swings,
Scratches someone's back.
How you like that?
Yeah.
That's good. I feel real nice.
Yeah. While the other guy weed whacks puse.
And the sword guy's just like,
Yeah. It's just a
"What are you
spot
doing?
there.
What
Yeah.
are
He's
you
like.
doing? Come on,
Damn
guys.
it.
Yeah,
Get in
and
the
they
game.
looked like when you have a big dog, you don't use the pooper scooper like grabber. You have the rake with the little
pan.
collector, the
Well, how you
pan,
doing?
and the rake looked. That's what he was carrying, 2 dog shit scooper rakes, and that was what made him dangerous enough for people to run away from him.
Right. Which in Kung Pao, they had the claw, which was like the
Yeah.
bad guy. You would just throw the claw on a chain
Yeah.
at people.
At people.
Which was making fun of people. That
It was,
movie
yeah.
was satirical.
The array of weapons that everyone possessed. They had everything from, ancient swords.
The women had the smoking poles.
They had smoking poles.
Yeah.
They had spears.
They had Tech Nines.
They had Tech Nines.
Nines.
One guy had a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A ninja with a Tommy
Yeah.
gun.
And then Mac 10s, MP5s.
Yeah, there was an arsenal.
Everybody.
It was like the Taliban currently.
Yeah. It was
Everything.
It was like, do you remember that movie with Gene Hackman where he goes back to Vietnam to try to save his son with like a random assortment of vets?
Yeah, I think it was Superman.
What?
The movie Superman.
Where
Where
Gene Hackman goes back to Vietnam.
Yeah, to take down Superman for killing his
You
boy.
know what I mean? Patrick Swayze was in
I don't
it.
remember the name of the movie. Yeah.
But when they go, they're trying to buy weapons for this mission, and they go, there's just like a random arsenal of weapons, everything from like an M16 to like a musket.
Everything. Yeah.
It is like a random assortment of guns.
He's like, I'll
to stack.
take it.
Yeah. That's what I'm surprised nobody had a musket. That'd be great.
He could
In the
have.
middle of the
There was
alleyway brawl, someone
hatchets.
just
Yeah.
like,
Hurry.
I gotta get the Wing Chun's.
Yeah.
Damn it, I missed.
I missed it. I gotta have to run.
Cover me.
Oh, I die now.
Oh, no, I got rake handed.
Oh, Rake. Yeah.
Oh no, stop. Stop.
That's really
Give me a rash. How about the fake in that same fighting scene? Man, we're all over the board today, by the way.
There's no organization.
Nobody's going to know what the fuck we're talking about.
You got to put a preamble on this this podcast will be so much better if you go and watch the movie and then watch it. So all 5 of you out there,
Crusher, Dom Delapino,
Wet Cat,
Bonji.
Terrence, it is a family movie.
I told Terrence a long time ago, probably should stop listening. if he keeps asking his kid to listen too. So I don't think Terrence is viewing anymore.
But
go back and watch the movie.
Right.
We're watching it tonight. Like I think it's hands down.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then come back to us and tell us. But
Chinese.
That's not the motion I made. But yes.
I want to.
I know what I know what you're doing.
If you want Chinese?
You're gonna go. You're gonna go take a page out of Egg Shen's book.
Yes. Yes. I love you. Hear you don't see the whole bong, but you hear the bubbling.
Well, at the end of the
there is nothing there. It's just like a little tube.
It's a bamboo tube,
It's a bamboo
and
tube.
he's smoking it.
And
Like
then
that's at the end of the
and
movie.
Then he leaves smiling, just like
He's like,
I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, I'm
It's
going on a
it's like
long-
his way of like, all right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, I'm going on a long vacation. He said, yeah, you're just going to get like Taco Bell on your way home, and your long vacation is however long the high is.
He goes like 20 minutes later. That was a great vacation.
Yeah, I went to space.
Hey, did Eddie bang the reporter yet?
Yeah.
Did Eddie the Slayer bang that report?
Yeah.
Did Killer Eddie ever tap that report?
Yeah. Where's Jack? Oh, that's right. I had him killed.
He's buried in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah.
I've been the bad guy all along.
Yeah.
He's
Rips his-
like,
just his
it's still
skin.
Egg Shen.
It's still him.
It's still Egg
He's
Shen.
I figured it'd work.
Yeah.
So what you were talking about? What happens during the alleyway?
Oh,
fight scene.
the terrible like fake action, the fake
Yeah.
fighting. There's a couple of scenes where they're trying to focus the camera on actual like choreographed stuntmen fighting, and in the background they must have just told these assholes that were getting paid nothing just like move around in a fighting motion. And there was more than one occasion where you see a guy, he's a hatchet ninja, and he's got one in the holster, like one in his belt, his cloth belt, and then he's got a hatchet in his hand, and he's literally just moving his hatchet up and down like this.
Yeah.
And there's nobody in front of him. He's not fighting anyone. He's standing there like up and down with the hatchet as if he's practicing in a mirror, like the mechanics. And that was it in the middle of the action. Yeah.
You gotta. That happens in like movies like Braveheart too, where like you're
Well,
focused
there's
on
a
the one,
lot
fight,
of
and then you see a guy in the back just like
doing nothing.
just shaking a flag. or
Yeah.
something. Ah.
He's grabbing his ball bag.
Also, we saw at least two of the gang fighters.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with the exception of Kim Cattrall, Margot, Jack Burton,
That's it.
I don't think there's another non-Asian person in the
That's
whole
it.
movie.
No, everything else is wrapped
attorney.
around.
And the attorney's secretary.
Correct.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the only non-Asians because they were in Little China.
Yeah.
So
Except for we saw at least 2 or 3 stuntmen that like it was very quick. They would get like punch and like fall back, but it was definitely like a white guy that they put like a Fu Manchu
Fu
mustache on.
and very clearly in standard 80s fashion, we're just like they must have said like make him look Asian, and they just put like stereotypical Fu
Yeah.
Manchu and a ninja suit on him.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, now get punched.
They would say something like really like racist, like
Yeah.
make him look like a Chinaman. or
Yeah,
something like
make him look
can't
Orient.
say
It's
it.
like you can't. Yeah, it's like hey, like what does that even mean anymore?
Well, I gotta say, I might be wrong, but from the research we did earlier when we were looking through the cast, it was relatively well cast. As I think everybody
Chinese
had
descent?
Chinese heritage. It wasn't
Yeah.
one of those where they put like a Korean actor and like, oh yeah, you're Filipino in this movie.
The
They just
best
put
was
him
like
in.
the best
Who's
was
the
a
one
guy
who
who
was the-
played Raiden.
In Doctor Strange,
What?
everyone was upset about.
Nobody watches that show on
Oh
this
no,
program.
that's based on it was the what's her name, the old one
Yeah.
that was Tilda Swinton in the comic books. That's an old Asian man, and they
Right.
made it a white woman.
Right.
Figures.
Nobody on the LPDS knows what we're talking about now.
You never saw Doctor Strange?
No.
Oh,
I'm thinking of Doctor Who.
No,
You're right.
Doctor Strange, the Marvel.
I
movie.
have seen Doctor
I
Strange.
knew that would be.
I am the idiot here. I
outside baseball.
apologize. Yeah, I'm the idiot here. No, everybody's seen the Marvels.
everybody's seen Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Doctor Who. I was like, here we go with this stupid shit. Oh, I could travel in time in a telephone booth. What are you gonna do? Again, eat my leftovers?
No, but
You wrote over.
Yeah,
Seriously, get ready to do your podcast in the bathroom.
yeah. Get ready for
Take away everything that's yours,
yeah.
including the mixer
That's right. Yeah,
and the camera.
No, this is on
It's gonna be Johnny and one microphone in a dark
The shower.
room.
No, the
Yeah.
shower.
possessions ownership, right?
It's 2/10 of the law.
9/10.
My fractions are way
Yeah,
off.
1/5 of the law.
I think you got that confused,
Yeah.
bud.
But
Fractions are like 0.8 of law.
But the guy, going back to what you were saying with the cult, like the people of Chinese descent, the guy who played Raiden, the lightning, lightning bolt, that was the guy who was, he was a Chinese person born in Japan of
English and Chinese.
His father was Chinese, his mother was English, and then he grew up in Germany.
Right.
That was that guy. And then
he was born in Japan, moved to Germany. Yeah. He's a military. He's American. He's English or American.
American, yeah, because I would imagine he was probably born on a base in Japan, which makes you still American citizen.
Right.
But that's a wild combination there.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can't remember which one. I think it was him. I think it was Lightning Guy. It was one of the 3 storms. And like it's a blink or you'll miss him was in the Avengers movie. He's one of the council with Powers Booth.
Oh, rest in power. Rest in
Classic,
Powers Booth.
Classic character actor. Him, Stacy Keach, and Michael Myers.
Yeah,
the triumvirate of
80s bad guys,
80s bad character actors. But Raiden was one of the council in the Avengers. So
I missed that one.
Yeah,
which we jokingly call him Raiden.
No, it's true.
But you found out that in Mortal Kombat writers or whatever creators based the character Raiden off of the Lightning Guy in Big Trouble in Little China.
No way.
Yeah.
The film's portrayal of the lightning sorcerer / demigod has occasionally been described as an inspiration for the character Raiden from Mortal Kombat, introducing the archetype of a straw hat wearing monk able to control lightning with his hands to Western audiences. In traditional Chinese and Japanese culture, the lightning god is represented more akin to a traditional Asian creature, but now he's a guy with a
straw hat and weed whacker hands.
So
hands.
Also, another little tidbit for you. New Zealand director Taika Waititi cited the film as a major influence on Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
You did mention that.
I got to go back and watch Thor Ragnarok to see where the parallels are.
Definitely the music and the stylization.
Double
I
feature?
think so.
Yeah.
It is a school night.
Big Trouble first.
Big Trouble first.
It is a school night.
So, it's 4:00. We'll start this off at 5.
We'll be in bed by 9:30.
Be tucked away by 9:30, baby.
Oh, that is
sleeping like a Lopan.
Solid 8 hours.
Now, I don't know if you want to watch this. I'm going to try to find it on. I don't know if you want to watch it now. I don't. Maybe you shouldn't, so you don't get copyrighted. But apparently, there's a Gangnam Style parody called Lopan Style with James Wong, one of the actors in it's like a music video.
James Wong. Which one was he?
He's Lopan, isn't he?
Is he Lopan?
I think James Hong. I'm sorry. Yeah, James Hong is Lopan.
Lopan. Yeah.
Oh. We won't watch it now, but if it's a YouTube video, send me the link and I'll put it up here. You can try to look it in.
Is it animated? Oh, this is old. It's from when it came out. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right. We'll put it up. We won't listen to it because, and just in case this episode happens to go viral, then I won't get paid for it.
The only thing going viral here is me and Pete.
Nothing. Yeah.
Because
of COVID.
Because we have.
Yeah.
Got the drip.
Yeah, but. Well, listen. Funny you mentioned that.
Oh God, John.
How?
No, I didn't.
What happened on Fremont Street?
When?
What did Crusher do to you?
If you go to the website from last week's sponsor, you can get James Dugan's over-the-counter chlamydia treatment.
Yeah, this is true. I heard it when you were editing the video.
So you can avoid future
claps.
How you doing? Because James got us covered.
The only clap I want is a slow one.
And with that, we're gonna tie a knot on this one.
This was my most fun one. Yeah, I think this is my most fun episode.
People need to go watch the movie. It's a great. There's no word to describe like a good 80s movie. You just know it when you see it.
Yeah, right.
And that is it.
Everybody in the movie, including John Carpenter, like it didn't get great reviews at the time, but now it has like a 78% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. It's a cult classic. Everybody in that movie knows exactly what they're doing. Nobody thinks it is what it's. No one thinks it's a real dramatic piece or it's a real. Everybody is the right level of campy, including Jack John Wayne Burton.
Yeah, exactly. It's an ensemble piece.
Yeah, they just know what's going on.
Everyone knows their role.
Yeah.
How about when he has to go undercover to the whorehouse.
He's great undercover.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
phenomenal
Yeah.
for a truck driver.
Great undercover work. I forgot what his name was. Something Swanson, maybe.
And
Or
so Jack Swanson's
Benson?
my name.
Yeah.
And Excitement's my game.
It wasn't Jack, but it was it was a good part. He played a good part. He was still wearing the boots too, by the way.
Yes.
Over this like plaid yellow suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a leisure
It
suit.
was a leisure suit.
Yeah, it was like polyester.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll cut it there. Go watch the movie. Objectively, like, go watch the fucking movie. Great film. I'm gonna watch it again.
Fun time.
Yeah. But before we go, real quick, big 3. Number 1, exercise every day. You did it this morning.
3 miles.
You felt like shit during, I'm sure,
Yeah, it was pretty
because it's tough, but you feel better after. You feel the sense of accomplishment. Helps you out mentally, physically, emotionally. Do it. Exercise every day. Number 2, don't be a shitty person. We already talked about it earlier. Don't be a shitty person. Other people are human beings with feelings and emotions and stories and stressors going on that you don't know anything about. Don't do it. Real easy. Number 3, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good going on in your lives and show that appreciation and gratefulness, that gratitude every single day. That's the most important one to me. I won't belabor the point today anymore, but speaking of thankfulness, thank you guys for once again doing this and helping me out, helping me cultivate this growing thing, and also preventing me from having to do it in the shower, in the toilet.
Well, you get Jeff Goldblum in there.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good for a background, better than what I have currently.
We'll bring it out next time. We'll put it behind us.
Yeah.
That's like
Just
a
Jeff
backdrop.
Goldblum. It's a backdrop.
We could set up the next guest episode.
In the back.
Just the 3 of us.
It would be pretty good. But don't forget to go check out all the stuff on the website, the YouTube, follow, like, subscribe, Instagrams, tell your friends, enemies, all that, how you doing. But thank you guys again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening. I love it. I love you all. Stay strong.